situation. And there's another thing that someone else has commented on. Mostly, I get very loving, supportive comments, and so I'm certainly always delighted to receive them because it encourages me and it helps me go forward. We all need. I don't believe in constructive criticism. I think that's an oxymoron. So it's awfully nice when we all get the not the kudos necessarily, but yes, I understand where you're coming from. I understand it. I get it. That's about all we need. But there's a topic, and once again, I'll tell you, probably now I'm completely going to let it go because I think taking a stand on it creates conflict, and I am not about conflict. So I'm going to permit everybody to stand in it exactly where they choose to. And this is about the whole area of vaccinations. Yes, it just so happens that I have done a yeoman's job on investigation and research about this. Yeoman's job. Again, my comments would only come from a place of concern. I don't want to see anyone hurt. I understand two sides of that argument, which, of course, right there sends me into a tailspin because it needn't be an argument. There are two sides. There's two opinions. Fine. One opinion is saying, be careful. They can do as much damage as they can good. Spread them out. The other opinion is, get your kids vaccinated. So here's the email that I received yesterday. Stop using scare tactics. Get your kids vaccinated. I remember the polio epidemic in the 50s. How soon we forget. Slam smack. Well, first of all, yep, it felt like a hit to my gut because, honest to God, if you don't want to get your kids vaccinated, don't. If you want to, go do it. But I'm also going to say, at least do the research. What is happening in some of these cases? What is the $6 billion, that's B, that's capital B, dollars that have been spent to hide the fact that there are these cases and settle the cases? That's all I'm saying. Do what you darn well want to do with it, but you don't need to attack. You can have your opinion. My opinion goes out very gently with, hey, this is my opinion. Have a great time. Get your own radio show. Do what you want to do. So, you see, this conflict, I don't understand it. I do not understand on this planet the depth of anger that people go at each other when they simply have lost the ability to pick up the phone and talk. I know this gal. I went to college with her. If she's so flustered, can't we talk this out? So what exactly happened to her in the 50s? You see, I felt badly for her. I'm like, geez, my God, do you have some sort of polio virus that's now come to the surface? What the heck has happened? But that whole vaccination thing is yet another very slippery slope of information. So there's nothing wrong with getting information. I really suggest investigate, get the facts, and then sift it all through your open heart. Do what's right for you. You know, I could pretty much guarantee the people that come at me about vaccinations, either they have been wounded and they don't want to take a look at it, but I can pretty much tell you they have not bothered to explore any of the research. So, okay, have a great time. Along that line, I have some dear friends that I had lunch with over the weekend, and the wife, I've known them for 35 years, so we're very, when you've known somebody for 35 years, you know the ins and outs of each one of them and the relationship. And my goodness, they've hung in there through thick and thin. And the wife has, as long as I've known her, been very, very interested in holistic approaches to health. She tries to feed the family properly. She's not into medications. As a child, she had a lot of medications and very severe reactions to them. So oddly, of course, she would try to keep husband also on the straight and narrow. 10 years ago, husband had open heart surgery, and husband really hasn't quite been the same since. And he diminishes every single thing that this woman tries to tell him about natural healing. And it is astounding. Well, after we had lunch the other day, he just wasn't himself. He didn't look comfortable. He was irritable. And this is not the fellow I've known for 35 years. Turns out, the wife and I spoke yesterday, he's suffering from lack of sleep, and yet during the day he's so drowsy he can't keep his eyes open. Gout, pain in every joint. Gout is in his elbows, it's in his feet are numb. He's a mess. So finally, in desperation, because she was sobbing yesterday, I said, please, would you get the meds and look up the side effects? He's having dreadful side effects to whatever the heck they've had him on for 10 years. Well, she called me back. She was beside herself. This one causes inflammation. This one causes gout. This one causes loss of sensation. This one destroys your muscular system. This one, it went on and on and on. And finally she couldn't stand it. We hung up. And the next thing I know, I get a heart-wrenching text from her. And this one is like the icing on the cake. This one, the heart stops beating. Now, I'd like to know at what point when the heart stops beating, you actually get to call the doctor. And all of this stuff, it's actually in the very fine print. So this gal who says, stop using scare tactics, dang it. Who's scared? We've got a wife who's sobbing her heart out because she can't scare her husband enough to have him listen and trade this for that and do this instead of that. Sometimes, I've been counseling people for 45 years now, and I will full on say to them at times, oh, hold on to your seatbelt here because I got to scare you. You're not getting it any other way. My job, so I thought, was to care for you and keep you in your body as long as you want to stay. So it's a very difficult dance. It's a fine line. So this drug that my dear friend is on, side effect, heart stops beating. Oh, I wonder how fine that fine print is. My girlfriend's comment was, my head is exploding. And I thought, holy smokes, you bet, your head is exploding and your husband's dying. And yet, we won't read the fine print. We won't see the videos. We won't take our head up out of the sand. I understand you have free will, and I understand when you leave this plane with your head still in the sand, you will go to another plane of existence, and you can continue to keep your head in the sand. And I have to learn to simply allow. That's my job. Just allow. And I do see I have at least one caller on the line. Hi there.
Hi, Elaine.
Yes.
It's Nancy again. And
Hi,
just
Nancy.
So you know, I can't hear you real well, but I'm just going to tell you this, and then you can share with me.
Okay.
And I can always listen to it later.
All right.
I am taking a road trip across the state
Yep.
to my friend who passed away about, almost 2 years ago, to her father's funeral.
Okay.
I'm with her sister, and her half-brother is coming, and another sister from California. There's been a lot of history of heartache and pain and anger. And so I'm trying to encourage them all to set their intentions, come with an open heart. I would like to see some healing. So I just wanted to know, how I can facilitate that, what can say to them to help the situation.
Okay. Nancy, I love you dearly, and the talk I've just been given that you probably weren't able to hear, drop your need to see any healing. That's what I've had to do. Drop my need to facilitate anything. All you and I have to do is show up very fully, being present. It's a free will planet. If they want to stay in anger and hatred, then so be it. It's astounding that I would have to tell you that. You cannot change it, fix it, help it, or heal it. People will not let go of their hatreds and their angers. And today, I'm just in a posture of throwing up my hands and becoming totally detached from their decisions. So it's an interesting, we're on the cusp of a full moon here. And I trust, Nancy, that you'll get this later in the replay of it. But we are on the cusp of the full moon. And of course, it's a full moon in Scorpio. So do you not understand that people are going to be more fixed and rigid about their righteousness than any other time of the year? It's also the Wesak Festival tomorrow. And the Wesak Festival, of course, is one of those, it's a high spiritual point of the year. It's one of the 3 high spiritual points. And this has to do with really letting go of our righteousness and our resistance and our conflict. And I keep beating the drum. I think I put the drum down. Whatever. I mean, it sounds like I'm giving up. I'm simply allowing. Because I don't want to be in conflict with their conflict.
Okay.
So I am going to expect of you, because I know you well enough, I expect you to simply allow your light to shine quietly and beautifully.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I will meet you at the porch and we'll let our light shine together.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're doing great work, Nancy. I know what you do. And I think both of us we have to drop our need to help them change.
Okay.
Okay? It makes sense?
Yeah, because you keep talking in some of your other shows about just drop it.
There we go. I'm right back at
we got to drop everything. Right?
Just drop it.
Drop everything.
Drop it all. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And in the dropping of it, when we drop all of the pre-packaged stuff that we've been carrying around, what happens is then the light simply shines.
Okay.
And it's all taken care of. Everything is just perfect. Those who get it will the seed will grow in this go round, and those that don't, not our business.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for hanging in there.
Oh, sorry about that, but thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Here's some interesting phrases this past week that actually perked up my antenna. And when my antenna goes up, it's usually not a pretty thing. So I've been working with a gal now for about 1.5 years on some very profound issues that she's working with. And on the side, she goes also to a therapist. And now I've learned to figure out, after she's seen him, her languaging changes. And I think this therapist and I are not quite seeing eye to eye. So the other day, she comes back at me with, well, I have to look at this with a critical eye. Okay, I understand that. That's an expression that human beings use. Let's look at this with a critical eye. I'm going to tell you, the place for a